Hey yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's your big bro Danny Bears up in the tube, and let's get tuned in. When Zanti get active, we get reactive, man. Damn, especially in the last couple of weeks, this issue has been bothering me a lot. Did a recording about it, decided, nah, you know what? Let me not do this. Let me not put it out. But then, it's been keeping me up all night, especially because it's political. I didn't want to tap into it because I thought, hey, this must be a sensitive issue. It might be. But then it's cold now. It's fine. But I just couldn't let it go. The issue keeps following me everywhere I go, man. I keep thinking about this. And I thought, nah, a lot of people have spoken about it. I'm just going to tap into it as well and just have some sort of a digital diary of my thoughts about the issue, if I may. And I thought, why not? So, Rob Hersov, the billionaire, was overseas in America, in Europe, made billions in the country. His family actually made billions in the country, and he's been overseas. Came back to South Africa. He noticed the country is in shambles. The country is going down the drain, and he's like, yo, I'm going to save the country. He's going to be the savior of South Africa, basically. That's what he said on his interviews. And as we know, ordinarily saviors get to be prosecuted. From Thomas Sankara, Chris Hani, Patrice Lumumba, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. The list go on of revolutionaries, and people who were trying to save states. They got murdered. You know what I mean? So as a savior of South Africa, we all know he's probably gonna be subjected to a certain level of prosecution, just like any revolutionary was, And I decided, okay, cool. If he's gonna be a revolutionary, instead of mindless prosecution, why don't we just dive in and look into the person himself, his character, what he's all about? If he wants to save South Africa, what version of the Rainbow Nation does he envision? What does he want to have as a result with his activism, if I may put it? Because he says he's saving it, he loves this country so much, he will make sure that it gets better. Those are his words. So what does he want to do? What type of a man is he? His morals, his belief system. During his stay in South Africa, he came across Penuel. They had conversations. He said, that's according to the interviews. He said, yo, Penuel, I really love this guy. They had chess together. I don't know how they met up, but they met up maybe through certain contexts. They have certain similarities in terms of ideologies, when you have things in common with your counterpart, you're more likely to want to meet them, discuss issues, and find common ground, especially when you want the best solutions for this country. I think that's how they got along. And they've been communicating. I think he said he was trying to serve more as an advisory type of a person or a mentor to Penuel. So as we look into the person himself, what does that mentorship entail? I'm going to mentor you, Penuel. This is you are an independent thought. You are intelligent. You have solution. You envision solutions for this country. So let me put you under my wing and show you what I have and what we can do together. But what does the mentorship entail? How do you relate with Penuel? The type of conversations you have. We're going to look at that and expose it in the interview to see now what type of a leader is he. When he says leadership, mentorship, and he says I love you, but what does it mean when he says love to the next black person, especially a person like Penuel? How does he value him? What does he see him as? And what does he see us as black people when he saves us from the mess? So let's start with this clip from the DJ's Boost podcast, the Hustlers Corner. Look at what he says, and then I think we'll be able to unravel the type of person that he is, what his goals are, and how he's trying to paint the Rainbow Nation. What colors does he see the Rainbow Nation as, and which colors are more valuable in this rainbow to him than the others? Are all the colors equal in the rainbow? Is there other colors that are more important than the other colors? What are you on about? What is it that you're trying to envision for South Africa? How do you see it looking like? At the end of the day, after traveling this journey, being the Jesus of this country, how do you want to see South Africa looking like in that Rainbow Nation? And what are your belief systems at the core? Okay, let's check this one.
Getting the government out of the way. And recently, there's been a lot of blame called whiteness, colonialism, apartheid, and it's nonsense. It's ANC Youth League and MK propaganda and EFF propaganda. The ANC doesn't want to take responsibility for the last 10 years of wrecking this country. So what do? They blame whiteness, apartheid, colonialism. That stuff's gone. It's gone.
Nonchalant.
But we should be working together.
You see, whiteness, colonialism, and apartheid, that stuff is gone, it's gone. Spusis says, no, it's not. He believes that there's no racism. We don't have any effects of apartheid affecting us now. Colonialism doesn't exist. Colonialism doesn't exist. Those are his core beliefs. We don't have such. We're living in a Rainbow Nation. Everything is good, according to him.
To fix this country, and it's easier than you think. That we just need, let's call it the GNU, okay? I was going to say,
as an
to
example,
put the hand up and say, we need less government, not more government. We can just sell the state-owned enterprises, get rid of them. They're just costing money.
So
and let's
basically
let
what he
entrepreneurs
believes is,
like Mzakes,
let's take the government out of the way. Let's remove all the state-owned enterprises and let capital run the country. Let the private companies run everything. Keep in mind that the means of production in this country, the means of economic prosperity are in the hands of the small minority, which is our white counterparts. So basically what he's saying is, let everything go to private, to capitalism. Capitalism at its core in this country is predominantly run by the white people. That's how it is.
There's not an easy answer to that. I just wanted to read the definition of free market capitalism for people that may not know. It's an economic system, this is very important, where private businesses own and control the factors of production with minimal government intervention, as Rob said, and where prices, production, and labor are determined by the forces of supply and demand. One of the reasons I have an issue with free market capitalism is because it's in the same WhatsApp group as democracy. It sounds very nice for people that are knowledgeable to promote it. Democracy is great, free market capitalism, but it's at the expense of those that are ignorant. And in a country where people are undereducated, not educated, it's very easy to exploit them because they don't understand these things. So it's like willing buyer, willing seller, but you don't know that your land is worth 50 million. You're just happy to get 10 cows for your land. But because I know that, I'm like, but it was a fair deal. So I capitalism versus socialism, and I know this is a debate, but communism has never really existed in the world, at least with the end goal of saying no government. The whole idea of communism is community. The people own everything. What we've seen in China, the Soviet Union, is aggressive socialism with authoritarianism, where you've got a dictator who claims he's working for the people, ends up having a lot of power and sometimes bullying people and messing things up. The big fight is between capitalism and socialism. The problem with socialism that we have in the world today is those that claim to support socialism rely on capitalists to fund whatever projects that they have. If our state-owned enterprises in this country, SAA, the SABC, Transnet, Eskom, when we still had it, ISCO and the like, the ports, if they were running profitably and they were making money, and governments like
those
we don't even need to tax you
that
guys.
they believe in
Our
socialism
SOEs are making such good money.
still rely on
SABCs throughout
capitalism
Africa,
in
we're
order
expanding
to
overseas.
do what they do.
Eskom is supplying.
So politicians receive funding in order for them to do whatever they do. Basically, all political parties are funded. Who's funding them? The funders are capital. Capital, by funding political parties, they literally dictate what, indirectly so, they are able to dictate what the political parties should be all about. Political parties depend on capitalism in order to operate. So when the funders are capital, they literally set the status quo for you. So in general, all our political parties are funded by capitalism. It goes back to the time when we all remember there was a cry for all political parties to disclose who their funders are for their political campaigns. Ramaphosa refused to reveal who funded his political campaign in order for him to be able to become the president. EFF said they're willing to disclose. I think they've disclosed some, and it was clear that it was capital that funded them. The white capital that they literally talk about. That's why most of the time you find that the EFF tiptoes around issues. Capital dictates what they talk about. The first issue was land. And then when the land issue was a problem, they moved him towards talking about illegal immigration. And then it was Zuma, remove Zuma, then the next thing. That's capital dictating what he says. So for me, this is when now you can judge the character of a person. Pioneer says, I don't trust capital either. Capital is Rob. Rob is strictly capital. How does Rob receive the fact that Peniel doesn't agree with him when it comes to capital? That's when you can judge the character of a person. Now we'll know what is his intention when he's saying, I want to talk to you, Peniel. Let's show each other. Let's get solutions to the problem that we have in this country. But how does he receive criticism from the next black person, especially with regards to capitalism? Remember, Peniel is a free thinker. He's supposed to give his opinion when it comes to this issue. But now you're giving an opinion to someone who's a savior. He wants to save this country. He knows more than you. He wants to save you. Now let's get the character analysis.
They haven't given us proof of concept on how they do better. It's almost like the DA.
Can I stop you here?
Go for it.
So you're wrong on 50% of what you say. You really are. You're mixing and confusing things, much as I love you. Let's take aviation as the best example of all. South African Airways, by the way, all the state-owned enterprises were run efficiently, effectively, and in most cases profitably under the apartheid.
All of them.
You're right.
I mean, they had competent,
but there's
efficient
a disclaimer there.
Let's just move on.
No, we can't. We can't. No,
I didn't stop you.
You did.
I didn't stop you 10 times when you were on
No, I'm not
Rampage,
stopping you 10 times.
And I could have.
I didn't stop you.
No, you stopped me once. You never let me finish. It's okay. I'm just saying you have to add the disclaimer. The apartheid government was very efficient.
Disclaimer?
I will agree with you. But you have to add the disclaimer that it was at the expense of the majority of the people. Otherwise, it becomes a horrible example.
Not true. The ports operated for all of South Africa.
Character analysis. As soon as Peniel spoke about his criticism for capitalism, he stopped him. He couldn't take it, and he said, no, you are wrong on 50% of most of the things. So he wants to defend capitalism. And then by defending that, which is okay, he can defend it. Peniel wants to, okay, it's fine, he defends it, and then he continues speaking. He says everything, all the state-owned enterprises were running efficiently during apartheid. And Peniel said, can I please add a disclaimer? This Rob says, no, don't interrupt me. Do not interrupt me. Peniel said, no, I'm not interrupting. I just want to add a disclaimer. He says, I never interrupted you. That's a lie. He did interrupt Peniel because Peniel was still talking about why he disagrees with capitalism, and he was about to conclude. A simple example of how it was able to run efficiently was the transportation system. Black people were not allowed to travel freely from one place to another because they were controlled. So in order for you to travel, you were supposed to produce a pass at some point, and with a pass, it means now we know who's traveling and who's not, and we can limit the amount of travel, whilst white people can travel freely with all the modes of transport. That's the first thing. ESCOM, power supply. We got power, electricity later on in life. We never had electricity. All the electricity was supplied to only our white counterparts and all the suburbs. Once we got electricity in the township and all these other rural places, they gave us low quality form of electricity because now we deserved less and they deserve more, and they didn't give us enough capacity. So it was running, but for the whites. Okay, let's see.
So before you interrupted me, I was trying to explain
Before you
why.
interrupted me.
I was trying to explain the two sides, the capitalism and the.
So he's asking Penwell, what do you believe? And Penwell is saying, but before you interrupted me, I was trying to, and he says, before you interrupted me. So he's trying to exercise, it seems like there's a certain level of power that he's trying to play here, because you can run the clip over and over again. He's the one who interrupted Penwell. When Penwell spoke, he just said, no, just a quick disclaimer. And then he let him speak. Now Penwell is getting a chance to speak, and he's saying, but before you interrupted me, because he had not finished when we were speaking about capitalism then. It's, for me, I'm sensing a bit of a power play. I said, you interrupted me, I'm the one who speak, I'm the master. But let's check it out.
Itself. Look at the capitalist countries in the world and look at the happiness index and look at the richest countries as a percentage of GDP. Okay? GDP growth, happiness index, every single one of the top 20 countries in the happiness index, it's an official index, are capitalist. Every single one. And you say capitalism doesn't work. I mean, sometimes, Penn,
So I must read that article and just agree.
Aha.
it's the fact.
Let's
This is the
according to an
problem
article.
between...
No, I'm just asking.
No, the happiness index is a UN
UN.
backed report, and it looks at education, health, every single factor, including GDP growth, every single factor. Every single one of those countries is capitalist, and you say capitalism doesn't work.
The UN works with organizations that Donald Trump that you like
It's
doesn't
not
like.
written by the UN.
Yeah.
It's an independent research that everybody endorses. Look it up.
Look it
Look
up.
up happiness index.
Yeah.
If I sent
More
it to
on
you, you
the
wouldn't read it.
character
I've
of
sent
a
you books.
person's lesson. This is what I say what I mean when I say let's check the character of the person. From the character, you can be able to see intent. What is it that they're trying to do and achieve? Lesson.
Everybody endorses. Look it up. Look up happiness index. If I sent it to you, you wouldn't read it. I've sent you books
wouldn't read
begging you to read them. You won't read
Begging
them.
you to read them.
You are.
won't
You
read
are.
them
There's
because I don't
some
agree with you.
form of indoctrination that you cannot pass beyond, and this is where we end
Indoctrination.
up fighting.
It's okay.
This is why we're fighting.
I mean, I just wish you would read
just wish
the
you
one
would
book
read.
that I keep sending and begging you to
Begging
read.
you to read.
It's called Freedom.
It's called freedom.
How we created it and why it's so important. And you refuse to. There are 3 pages on capitalism in there. I've given you a copy.
But you wouldn't read them.
Why won't you read it?
Uvunakula?
Hi, cool man.
This is how
Yo, okay. So basically, Rob is saying, look it up. Look up the happiness index. Why don't you believe what I'm just showing you? I gave you a book to read about capitalism and you wouldn't even read it. Look at the mindset of this person. How dare I give you a book to read and you don't come back and agree with me? How dare I tell you about the happiness index and you want to question it? Who are you to question the sources of information that I'm sharing with you? And who are you to question my belief systems about capitalism? How dare you, Penwell? That's when you see the look in Penwell's face. The look of disappointment because he just been he received disdain and disrespect from the master. Penwell, I thought you were smart. I came, I took you in. I said I would mentor you and show you information and show you what works. And then you want to question me? Who are you to think you can question me? My word is the last word. I'm the master. How dare does a slave try to come and question my belief system and question the teachings that I come with? I'm going to show you who I am. I'm your master. I'm going to lynch you in a public platform and tell you and ask you, how dare you don't listen to what the master tells you? And Pano is sitting there like, wow. I think this is where he's trying to have a civil way of expressing his disappointment. You know, our nature as African people, we respect the elders as much disappointing as they could be to us. But there's certain languages that we will never use, and it can never be disdain or disrespect. Penuel is trying to express the disappointment in the lies exposed by people like Rob and the disrespect that they gave him when he's trying to talk to them. And as intellectuals, we should be able to share ideas and show each other a better way forward. But instead, all that he receives back is disdain, disrespect.
I say, yeah, but it's black people and it's what. I'm like, these guys are not listening. And then they go and they peddle Elon Musk even recently is peddling the white genocide, false propaganda. Still, Tucker Carlson sits with Aaron's Roots, and shame, I have huge respect for Aaron's Roots. And I listened to all the things he said because he's hyper intelligent, very well read. But where I'm at right now, it feels like some of the most influential white voices don't believe in unity and don't believe in the capabilities and capacities of black people. And some of the big black voices are not even countering that. They're not even bothering.
I think this is a very important piece that we need to reflect on as well in response. Listen.
Malcolm X's and you Louis Farrakhan's and then you look at the South African story where now Herman Mashaba is being bashed because he's not singing according to the hymn sheet anymore. Yep. And you're like, so when we're not singing, there's something wrong with us.
You're a slave.
We must only sing with, when we don't sing with, we get called names.
You don't listen.
It's very disrespectful. It's very belittling and it makes you lose hope because you thought Sbuda was my guy. But you realize Sbuda actually doesn't see you. And you're like, okay.
Rob,
listen.
Sure. That was the convo show for the last 20 minutes. I didn't interrupt. Pen, that's nonsense. A lot of it is self-seeking, soul-searching, and I get it. Okay? But think about it for a second being...
So, the sad part is when, as a black person, you speak about the issues and where you disagree, you get disrespected and being called names. That's the problem that we see here. You should be a slave. The master tells you what you should think like. The character analysis that I got from this, actually, he's going to continue defending how the whites are the victims. And he called whatever Penuel has said nonsense. It's not the fact that the problem is not that Penuel is speaking facts. The problem is that he's speaking facts, but he shouldn't be in a position to speak facts. Okay, let's check the section over here. Land grabs.
Maybe tiny here and there, but it's not really happening. I agree with you. And Ernst didn't say that, and I didn't say it. So what triggered you on my Dave Rubin? It was 10 minutes only.
Land grabs are not happening.
What specifically triggered you?
Okay.
What did I say in those 10 minutes that triggered you?
Okay.
We can leave it like that and not answer it. I mean, I don't think I did. I think you're lumping me in with everyone else just because I had the audacity to be on an American podcast, and I'm going to do more.
He's going to do more podcasts.
But I agree, there is no genocide.
There's no genocide.
There really isn't.
Okay.
And land invasions haven't happened.
They haven't happened. Okay.
Yet. and expropriation without compensation hasn't really
Hasn't
happened yet. But it's
happened.
like having a loaded gun in the bedroom with children running around.
Okay.
At some point, some kid's going to pick up the gun and pull the trigger.
Land grabs haven't happened. Genocide hasn't happened. He's going to do more podcasts over the world and talk about it. Okay, expropriation hasn't happened and all, but let's check what he said a week or two later at our Valuetainment with PBD. Okay, cool. Let's check it out.
Tell me what this means to you. And it's been signed in January. Expropriation without compensation.
Unpack.
Would you invest in this country that says we can expropriate not just your land, not just your mines, the watch of your arm and your house, without compensation if it's in the public interest?
What's the incentive for me?
Well, you'll never invest in South Africa with a law.
No,
like
why
that.
would I do that?
You wouldn't. Why would I invest any more in South Africa? I won't. Foreign direct investment has dried up.
Basically, he said there's no expropriation with Penuel and Sbu. He said there's no genocide with Penuel and Sbu. But the way he speaks about them here, total contradiction to what he said this side. And as we go back to Penuel, you see he promised that he's gonna spread the word that there's no genocide. But when he comes here, you listen to the way he slams South Africa, saying there's a genocide.
A few moments
I'm gonna
later.
go to Penuel's side to hear what he said. Okay, check this out.
World is now against us.
I'm asking you for a deal. It's that simple.
And we've been divided, Rob. We've been divided by the very guy who comes from this country.
I know, but EFF's dividing us too by
He's
the hatred.
weaponizing his
How come you black guys won't take the deal? I'll say to the fact that there's no genocide going on and there are no farm invasions, and you guys denounce EFF because you're too scared to do it.
But why can't you text Elon
I'll do
Musk
it.
and tell him?
I'll do it.
I'll do it.
But why don't you call Julius and tell him to back off on the EFF
I'll do
hate
it.
slogans? Come on.
But do you understand what?
Too scared?
But do you understand what he's just said?
Yes, I'll do it.
Do you understand?
I'll do it. I've
do
said
it.
yes. These guys are like backpedaling.
I will do it.
Which guys?
We know.
So I started.
Say specifically.
He said he will do it. He will talk that there's no land expropriation, there's no genocide. 2 weeks later, from this, or a week later, from this, he went and spread the genocide and expropriation. Okay, this is very crucial.
If you are such an influential voice, why do you just let
Voice.
that go?
I've told you I'm going to do it. You have my word. Now, will you also stand up and preach love?
I told you I'm gonna do it. You have my word. You have my word. I'm going to go there and spread the word that there's no genocide, there's no land expropriation. You
Instead
have
of
my
hate,
word.
Let's deal.
And Julius and the EFF are hate. They're divisive. You should be anti them.
I'm not anti anyone.
Backpedaling.
I love everyone,
Backpedaling.
right? So I love everyone. So what I'm gonna do, Rob,
Putting you
is
on the spot, Spoon.
I'm gonna organize a beautiful live debate with an audience.
Okay.
And we'll invite Julius as well to come and join us.
I'd rather have a cage fight with him.
No, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong about different,
Quite skinny. It's skinny.
differing on ideologies, but there's nothing wrong being in the same room and opening up a discussion or a debate and inviting the
Sure.
public to
Bring
come
me in, baby.
on a big platform. We'll
Bring me
all
in.
Another crucial discussion about BEE when he was told the necessities of it. And then he acted like he understand and he thought, I'm going to go out there and spread the lies and bash all the black people of South Africa. Listen.
Well, I bring them to you.
and I understand that, but I'm driving a point here.
No, but you'll have privileges I don't have.
We need to redress the
So you,
imbalances.
so you think we can't operate on merit yet?
We can't, not yet,
Not
not
now.
now.
Well, at least you be
Not
honest.
by a mile, Rob.
Buddy, that's all I'm asking.
Hundreds of years of what has happened in the past.
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
And I know
I just wanted you to say, I just wanted you to answer it yes, no, and you did, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's not now.
So you think you need all the leg ups possible?
You know that, Rob.
No, I wanted you to
You
say it.
know
It's not for
that,
me
Rob.
to say.
Yeah, I'm telling
You
you.
know
Okay.
that, Rob.
All right,
We do.
that's all I needed to know.
But we need to still find a way to fix this country. We can't have the guy who's got the biggest platform in the
You
world,
know
the
that,
richest guy
Rob.
in the world, who is also listened to by the whole world and American.
Rob can go with any person on a debate and he will be murdered because he doesn't have the true facts. What I sense he has is a certain disdain for a certain group of people, and he's not willing to listen to them. How dare? And I'm going to prove it by the fact that he has never said anything positive about any black person on any of these podcasts. And he has never said anything negative about any white person in any of these podcasts. He would not mention any racist white person. We know a lot of white people are racist, a lot, and we come across them all the time. He would never talk about that. Actually, he embraces the white skin. Most black people that he mentions, he swears at them. He calls them names. He calls them idiot. He says they make him sick. They make him disgusted. Let's check out this clip.
This clown cabinet runs the country.
Clown cabinet.
It's disgusting.
Disgusting.
Makes me angry when I look at some of these people.
Make me angry when I look at some of these people.
Now, I know Enoch, the finance minister, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
Okay?
But he makes him disgusting.
Naledi Pandor is a good person.
Good person. But he makes him disgusting.
Very, very few others. The lady who's in charge of human settlements reached out to me, said, I'm trying to get what business needs in this country so we can at least find a middle ground. So there is some good there. But there's a lot of bad and a lot of evil.
So this list out there, ministers, even though there's good in them, they disgust them. He hates them. These idiots. So you're still an idiot, even though the people that are trying to reach out and find common ground are there. You still call the entire list idiots. That's because the list is black. When I look at this list, as a South African young man, I see a list of elders, politicians that are not doing a good job running this country. I wouldn't say any words that seeks to demonize them as human beings, because that's personal. You're not talking about their work ethics and what they do. Now you're going personal. I see elders, and I know that from the onset, the way I talk about them, there needs to be a level of respect because they are my elders. Even if I was the same age as them, when he sees them, he sees a totally different thing. He gets disgusted. He hates them. He calls them evil. That's the general sentiments of Rob towards black people. Character analysis. Who's this person who's saving South Africa? That's the savior. That's the Jesus that's coming to save South Africa. And this is his opinion about the other group of people. Listen to the language that he uses when he sees the people that he's trying to save. Listen, I'm trying to save these people, but this is what I think about them.
And I've got to say that if you put Bekele at the top of the evil list, he'd be number 1, 2, and 3. What a disaster. What a useless piece of... I'll stop right there.
What a useless piece of shit.
So these useless people are running our country, and these useless people are going to get voted in 2024 unless the coalition gets their act together and unless the 55% of the...
These useless people, pieces of shit. That's the person who came back to make the country great. Still on the character analysis, let's check this again. Listen to what he says about black people.
White South Africans excel at academics and competition.
White South Africans excel.
And what we need to therefore understand and acknowledge that competing with us on merit remains a scary prospect that most black South Africans won't support. It's hard to say that. And it's also hard to say we seem to be surviving BEE.
White people compete way better than black people. And black people are scared of that. That's why we don't want to compete on merit. Because they are much more better performers than white people, than black people. He's here to save South Africa. he agreed that he will correct the issues about genocide and land expropriation. But a week later, this is what he
to
does.
white Afrikaner farmers. And then he expanded it, I think, in the last few days to mean any minorities in South Africa being persecuted. And the persecution is definitely in place economically.
Definitely
and it's
in
beginning
place.
culturally.
Culturally.
Our government have flown over here to try and tell Donald Trump there is no genocide.
There is no genocide. Lie again.
Let me talk about farm murders in South Africa. Our commercial farming population is 30,000 farmers. The American commercial farming population is 3 million. It is 3 times more dangerous being a farmer in South Africa than a policeman, and twice as dangerous being a policeman than an average citizen. Farm attacks are not only attack and then 30 to 40% are murders, but it's
Yes.
torture.
Okay, let's hear what it's gonna say more about BEE and land expropriation
We
bill.
will not do trade with you. We will not help you. In fact, we're going to punish you unless you repeal black economic empowerment laws, expropriation without compensation, and you withdraw the Iran-funded ICJ case against Israel. Iran funded the ANC to put that case against Israel.
Iran funded.
Iran funded the ANC.
So basically, BEE, as much as he spoke about it with Sbu, and Sbu told him it's necessary, he couldn't argue why it's not. He just says you want a leg up because he believes black people, you know what I mean. Expropriation bill, obviously he doesn't want it. And we need to support Israel apartheid. Basically, with the character analysis, without diving deep into the argument, is what this man is predominantly doing here on the PBD podcast is the total opposite of what he said he would do when he was talking to the black guys. He went further to demonize everything about South Africa. Never said anything positive about any black person. Never said anything negative about any white people. White people are the angels. Black people are the demons. He's the master. He wants to save South Africa from black people and save the white people so that they can rule over. Keep the black people as slaves. Let the white people rise up and become the masters because they are the bad, they are evil. He hates those pieces of shit. That's the person who's here to save South Africa. Anyway, I'm just gonna leave it there, guys. We could go on and on and on talking about Rob, his character, what his intention is. But in order for the rainbow to be colorful, I believe that all the colors should be equals. We should look at all the colors as important amongst each other. You can decide for yourself based on the character, the words, who this person is, what the future holds for us, and which fight is necessary for us to endure. I just wanted to highlight this for us to be able to make up our mind on what we want. And thank you for tuning in.